A massive climate mobilization shook Belém as thousands flooded the streets, demanding real and immediate action on the climate crisis. The march brought together indigenous communities from across the Amazon, youth climate movements, farmers, international civil society organizations, and the environmental defenders from around the world. Demonstrators denounced the expansion of oil and gas extraction in the Amazon, raised alarms over carbon market mechanisms seen by many as inadequate or unjust, and called for an end to pollution, deforestation, and river degradation. Leaders of the protest described the action as a turning point in global climate negotiations.
We're fighting for life, and there's one thing that all the scientists, all the activists know, and has been said again and again and again, that goes against life, and it's the burning of fossil fuels. It creates typhoons, hurricanes, droughts, heat waves that are already burying millions of people, especially across the global south, from the Philippines to Indonesia to Brazil to Colombia to Chile, in Africa. Everyone is suffering because we depend on fossil fuels. And while they hold all the power and they stay on the way, the energy transition is not going to happen.
Many carried banners demanding a full and equitable phase-out of fossil fuels, protections for indigenous territories, and climate finance that reaches communities already facing irreversible loss and damage. For frontline communities, climate change is not a distant threat but a daily emergency involving extreme heat, polluted rivers, rising food insecurity, and the disappearance of forests and biodiversity. Marches emphasize that climate solutions must not be negotiated without the meaningful participation of those who protect land, water, and ecosystems at a great personal risk. I am protesting for the protection of my territory, to speak up against the polluters and call on the leaders to protect our environment. The demonstration also highlighted the struggle of Caribbean, African and Pacific nations facing severe climate impacts despite contributing the least to global emissions. Social movements demanded an end to what they described as policies that push the responsibility for climate action onto communities rather than major polluters. The protest sends a strong message to negotiators as COP30 discussions intensify on adaptation, carbon markets, climate finance, and a possible global pathway to phase out fossil fuels.
Protesters say they expect more than symbolic language. They are demanding the cancellation of projects linked to pollution, fossil fuel dependence, and deforestation, legal protection for indigenous and traditional territories, and the restructuring of climate finance to fund community-led solutions rather than emission trading systems that, in their view, fail to reduce global pollution. Their message was consistent and direct. The Amazon cannot be saved with carbon counting that favors big emitters. The future of the climate, they argue, depends on stopping fossil fuel expansion and protecting the people who have defended the forest for generations. Reporting from Belém, Brazil, I am Aminata E. Sanya.